Hi, my name is Dina. Today I'm going to show you how to do my mitochondria earrings. So let's get powered up, go down to that list below, gather up those supplies, gather them up, and I'll meet you back and I'll show you the first step. So before we start, I want to give a special shout out to my daughter Michaela for helping me name this one. She said at the end when I did the other colorways, the gold color, she said it looked like a mitochondria cell, so that's where we got the name from. So we're going to start off with a long series of beads, so make sure that if you need to, watch this section and then stop it, rewind it a little bit, and then pick up the beads that you need, because it's quite a bit in the very beginning. And I do have the gray size 8 dragon thread today. I have about 2.5 to 3 feet. That's about what you'll need per earring in order to finish it. Okay, so we're starting our series now. We need an 8/0, an 11/0, 2 15s, 2 11s. So far we have an 8, an 11, 2 15s, and 2 11s. We're going to pick up our first quad bow. Our quad bow is got the longer or the outer edge, which is this one right here, and then you've got the shorter or the inner edge. We're going to go through one of the outer holes from the outer edge to the inner. Then we're going to pick up another 11. Then we're picking up a second quad bow, one of the outer holes again, but from the inner to the outer. And then essentially we're going to do opposite what we just picked up before we picked up that first quad bow. So we're going to pick up 2 more 11s, 2 15s, and then we're going to pick up just 1 more 11 because we already have that 8/0. So that 8/0 is going to be the center portion of this. So here is your list of beads that you need to start off with. You have an 8, an 11, 2 15s, 2 11s, quad bow, 11, second quad bow, 2 11s, 2 15s, and 11. Like I said, it was a lot of beads. So what you'll want to do is pull this down to the end and then just tie yourself a little knot. Just be careful not to get that knot involved with any of the beads, which sometimes can be very tricky. I'm just doing this as slowly as I can, and then pull tight, just like that. So you want to continue through your 8/0, your 11, your 2 15s, and your 2 11s, and come out before you get to the quad bow. And then that gets you set up for the next step. So I'll go ahead and stop here, let you catch up, because I know there was a lot of beads at the very beginning, and meet me back and I'll show you the next one. Alright, so we're coming out of that second 11 in that series of beads before you got to the quad bows. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pick up 2 11s, coming out of that 11, and we're going to go through the second hole of the quad bow, going from the outer to the inner. And what we'll do now is we'll start adding some of the inner beads on the inside of the quad bow. So pick up one of your round duo minis and go through one of the holes, doesn't matter which one, and then just go straight through your second quad bow through that second hole from the inner to the outer. And what we're doing is actually right angle weave. We're just using multi-hole beads, so it's slightly different, but essentially the same steps. So we're going to pick up 2 more of the 11/0s. We're coming out of that second hole, and we're going to go back through that first hole of the quad bow, continue on to the 11/0 in between the 2 quad bows, continue on to that first hole of that first quad bow, and then to get ready for your next raw unit, you want to go through those 2 beads that we just added, and so just those last 2 beads. And now you're set up for the next step. So the next one is essentially the middle part of the quad bow. So in the middle part, we're going to add 3 11/0s. We're coming out of that last bead of the 2 11/0s that we just added. We're going to go through that next hole, which is the third one of the quad bow. After that, we're going to pick up an 11/0. We're going to go through the open hole of the round duo mini, and then just through the round duo mini. So that puts an 11-0 in between the quad bow and the mini. Pick up another 11-0 and then go through the third hole of that second quad bow. And then your item should look something similar to this. So now we're going to copy the other side, so we're picking up 3 of our 11-0s, going from that third hole, going backwards to the second hole, continue through the round duo mini, that first hole of it, if you can. If not, take it one bead at a time. Then go through the second hole of the first round duo, or first quad bow. And then this last one, we added 3 beads, so we need to go back through those last 3 beads and get us set up for the next addition of beads. So on this part, we're going to add 2 seed beads again, so 2 11-0s. Coming out of that third 11-0, we're going to go through the fourth hole towards the inside. This part, we're going to pick up an 11-0, our round duo through one of the holes, doesn't matter which one, and an 11-0. Then we're going to go straight through the outer hole of the second quad bow. Then that sits your beads like that. Next up, we're going to add 2 more 11s, and we're coming out of the fourth hole of the quad bow down here at the bottom. We're going to go through the third hole, continue on through all the other beads, which is an 11-0, the second hole of the round duo mini, another 11-0 through the third hole of the first quad bow. Then get yourself set up to move on by going through the last 2 beads on top of that first quad bow. So that's the first half of this, so I'll let you get caught up to this part and then meet me back and I'll show you the next part. So now we have just about half of our earring completed, so we're basically going to do this whole part on the other half. So in order to do that, we need to put something in between so we can get to that other side. So on this little one, we're going to do, or this step, we're going to do an increase decrease. So we're picking up a 15, 11, an 8, 11, and a 15. We're going to pick up our next quad bow. We're going to go from the outer edge again towards the inner through the one of the outer holes. Doesn't matter which one. And then we're going to pick up another 11-0. From here, we're going to go through that outer hole of the round duo that we haven't gone through yet. And then on the bottom side of this, or the next side, we're going to do the opposite. So we're picking up another 11-0, picking up our fourth quad bow from the one of the outer holes from the inner side to the outer side. Then we have to do our increase decrease again. So 15, 11, 8, 11, and a 15. Now you go through your outer hole of the previous quad bow from the bottom side going towards the top. And when you pull tight, that should get all your beads sitting like this. So continue on through your 11-0 that's sitting here, your round duo, the 11-0, the quad bow, just like we've been doing on all the other steps so far. And you need to continue through those 5 beads there at the top. So the 15, 11, 8, 11, 15. And then come out of that 15. Do not go through the quad bow just yet. That gets you set up for the next step. And then this part, like I said earlier, is basically the repeat of this, but in the opposite direction. So on the outer edge here, we're going to pick up 2 11s. Coming out of that 15, we're going to go through the next hole of the quad bow. Looking over here, we need to add our last round duo mini. So we're going to pick up an 11-0, the mini, and an 11-0. Go through that second hole of that bottom quad bow. Pick up 2 more 11s, and then go back through the first hole, as well as the rest of the beads to the left of what you're adding at the moment. Now on this part we added 2 beads on the top, so we go back through just those 2 beads just at the moment. At the very end we're going to go back through all the beads around the edge to kind of straighten it up a little bit better, so if they're looking a little helter-skelter, it's fine, we'll get it fixed. So this is our middle section right here, so we need to add our 3 beads in the middle section. So 3 11s, go through your next hole of your quad bow. If you can, go ahead and catch on to your round duo mini, and then to the next hole, open hole of the quad bow on the bottom. Sometimes it lines up, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't line up, not a problem, just take your time going through it. Then pick up your next 3 11-ohs, go through the hole to the left that you're coming out of currently, continue on through all the beads that you added here, your 11-oh, your round duo mini, the 11-oh, go through that hole of the quad bow. Here at the top we added 3 beads, so go through those 3. Next section is 2 11-ohs, go through the last hole of the current quad bow, add an 11-oh, go through the last hole of the second quad bow on the bottom. Now we add 2 more 11s, go back through the third hole and round yourself out by going through the quad bow, the round duo mini, and the quad bow, and see how I said it's not how it lines up sometimes and not other times. This time I'm just getting through the round duo mini and the quad bow. So coming out of the quad bow, this one at the top we added 2 beads, so go through those last 2 beads. And then we've got the edge to complete. So we're going to add 2 11s, 2 15s, an 11, an 8, an 11, 2 15s, 2 11s. So there you go. Another long amount of beads. So 2 11s, 2 15s, 11, 8, 11, 2 15s, and 2 11s. And then you do the same thing that we've been doing the whole time. Go through the outer hole of the quad bow on the bottom, continue on through the 11-oh and the quad bow at the top, the outer hole. And then when you get these on, now you have your mitochondria looking like earring. So all you have to do now is just go around the edge. So I'll stop here. I'll let you get caught up to this section, and like I said, just go around the edge. All you have to do, like we've been doing in the past, you start out by going through those first 2 beads, the first 2 11-ohs that we added, and then just continue all the way around. What I will end up doing is continue all the way around once, and then I'm going to go down this side, so this right hand side, one more time so I can get back to the stop thread, and then I'm going to tie that part off. So after you get done with this, if you have to rewind, because I know it's a lot of beads all at the same time, if you have to rewind, rewatch it and everything, but get through that, go through your outer beads once, every single thing that's on the outside, and if you want to another half time to get down here, tie off, then meet me back and I'll show you the last step that we need to do. Okay, so now we have just one more step to do. We have to add our jump ring to the top of the earring as well as our ear wire. Now, the bottom of my earring is down here. That is where I tied off the thread, so I would suggest to use the opposite of the earring. If you want your earring to sit like this, which would be perfectly fine as well, then you can go through one of the 8-ohs up here and on the side. I'm going to go through the 8-oh up there at the top. So I'm taking 2 pliers. I've got one on one side of the opening of the jump ring and then one on the other side of the opening. And I'm going to twist it open. So see how it's twisted open? And then I'm going to slip it through the 8-oh here at the top. Now I am using a Duracoat one, so I did test it out before I started recording just to make sure I can get it through, but sometimes they're a little hard to get through. some of the Duracoats, and if you're using Tohos, then the perma-finish ones. And it will work. You just have to kind of wiggle it through just a little bit at a time. But it will eventually, see it's starting to poke out through the other side now. It'll eventually go through. It just may take a little bit of finagling, so just take your time with it. You'll get it through eventually. So I've got my jump ring on there. I'm going to go ahead and put my ear wire on, just making sure that the back of the ear wire is to the back of the earring. And it's coming off right now because it's sitting kind of wonky. Come on, sit on there. I know you work. Then I'm taking the other pliers, and I'm twisting the jump ring back, and I'm wiggling it back and forth so that way there's a good connection from one side of the jump ring to the other. And then just out of habit, I always try to get that opening of the jump ring back down into the 8/0. You don't have to do that, it's just something I usually do. And then your earring is complete. So here is the purple and pink colorway. And then here is the gold and bronze colorway. So I hope you liked this tutorial, and who knew that you're going to come and watch a tutorial on how to make jewelry, and you got a little bit of a biology lesson along with it. Thanks so much for watching my Mitochondria earrings. So thanks again to my daughter Michaela for helping me name this one, because she said that it looked like little mitochondria cells. So thanks for powering through this one, and don't forget to take pictures of your different colorways and everything and post them to Facebook, because I love to see all the different colors that everybody else comes up with. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell down there in the bottom so that way you'll get notifications whenever Potomac Beads comes out with new videos. So speaking of that, get ready for that next video, because I know it's going to be a good one.